Okay, guys, welcome to the Chosen One podcast show. If you landed on this podcast episode, you are probably a manifesting generator and a female entrepreneur, coach, or expert. So, welcome, take a cup of tea, and binge listen to all the amazing episodes I have set up for you. Episodes to help you create the right energy and mindset to create the manifesting generator business and life of your dreams. Here we go. Okay, Queens. So I want to record a very special episode about a special topic. It's all linked to making money in the combination with your soul's mission. And it is a topic that a lot of women who already make a lot of money or have made a lot of money in the past are able to relate to. And it's something that once you have made a lot of money and your soul actually develops, you will find yourself in a different state of being around money. And why I wanted to record this episode is to remind everybody who is in this situation where you either have made a lot of money in the past or basically if you've made a lot of money in the past, regardless if that was by working for a company or working for yourself, it doesn't really matter. If you have had the experience of making a lot of money, it is so important to understand that once your soul develops, your requirements, I want to say, but that's not the right word. Your needs from a soul level become differently. So in my sales webinar, where I talk about how to make money with your soul's mission, with your true soul's mission, I have this specific couple of slides, which is all about that you never ever reach your end destination. And what I actually show in those slides is that in 2018 and 2019, I made a lot of money. And my whole lifestyle at that time was also really about spending a lot of money. It is something that my soul really, really desired at that time. It was like a true desire from my soul to have that experience, right? Because the years before that, I had worked for a company making a fixed salary, which wasn't like a major amount of money. In the Netherlands, you do not get paid well if you're a psychologist. So I basically made like 2,500 euros a month. And I've always had a big spending mentality. I always loved to have beautiful things and go on holidays. So I would always spend more than I had. So by the time I actually left that the job as a psychologist and became an entrepreneur, it was really a desire from my soul to have the experience of true financial freedom, right? So before, when I used to go on holiday, I would always have to check like, okay, what does it cost, right? Because based on that, I could decide if I could afford it and if we could go. So what I really desired at a certain point, I was like, you know what? I just want to be able to book whatever I love and then just look at the price. Or I just want to buy the car that I want and then look at the price. Or I just want to go to Louis Vuitton or to Chanel, buy the bag that lights my heart up and then look at the price, right? So that was like a true soul desire of mine at that time. So I didn't only make a lot of money, but I also spent a lot of money. And in my definition, it was absolutely holy money that I made back then, and holy money that I spent. I literally feel like everything I spent my money on, every holiday, every expensive Venice trip we took. We went to Venice so many times. The beautiful car I bought, all the beautiful bags I bought. I mean, I have such a beautiful bag collection. I have so many Louis Vuitton bags. I could open up my own store. I have all the limited editions. I have like a beautiful Chanel bag with a wallet, expensive watches. I mean, you name it, I have it. And at that time, I was like, that was like something I got so lit up by, right? By going into a store, buying myself a new Chanel brush or a new purse or whatever. And the reason why I was able to make a lot of money was because my soul really wanted to have that experience, right? Well, in this webinar, I explained that no destination is ever your end destination. So in 2019, that was my sole desire. After that, I came into a different phase of my life. I wanted to become pregnant. I received like messages from my daughter. I really came to a different place in my life that really requested less money. I didn't need to make as much money as I was making before because I had different types of desires, right? My whole desire to move house changed back then because I felt like having a solid foundation for our daughter is now more important than moving house. So there was no need for me to make more money than I was actually making at that time. And it's so interesting because I find that every single year you enter a new era of your life, and new money goals come with that. And actually, I always get the exact amount of money that I desire, right? So I'm currently in a place in my life and in my business that I'm really like, my soul really likes like the 15 till 20k months. It is very nourishing to my nervous system. It's very nourishing to my system in general. It allows me to live a comfortable life, and at the same time it allows me to stay very grounded. I feel like maybe that's a limiting belief, I don't know, but I really don't think it is. I really feel like having way more money right now would like make me a little bit uncomfortable. Like, okay, I have to do stuff with it and I don't really feel like doing stuff with it, right? So there's like no internal desire for me at this point to go to Louis Vuitton and buy a bag. Like every time I'm there, I'm just like, yeah, I have everything already, right? I can shop in my own house. Of course, I do love still to buy some new clothes now and then. I love spending money for our daughter. I still love having enough money to travel. So that's really where I want, that where my soul desires the money for. But at this point, I do not need to make millions a year. I know that when my soul enters a new phase and I have like different desires again, probably when our daughter is a little bit older, I'm pretty sure that we want to move to a different house. We have always dreamt of a larger house, but at this point she is so comfortable here and she has so many friends here in the neighborhood that I really do not want to move house right now, right? So the reason why I wanted to record this episode is because I feel like we are very brainwashed in today's society that it is always about making more money and more money and more money. I don't believe it's about making more money. I truly believe like life is about making the amount of money that suits your soul desire at that point. So everybody has a soul, like just look at it as a yearly theme, right? So every year your soul requires a different amount of money. And you should really just like investigate your life for a bit and see if that is true. But I really, really see in my life that that's the case. I always, absolutely always get what I desire. Always. And that's not only money wise, that's like on every area in my life. I get what my soul desires. And looking that way at money makes it that you actually develop a very nourishing and loving relationship with money, because I do not feel abandoned by money ever. Even if I make like less money now than I made, for example, in 2018, I'm still making a lot of money, and it's still money that is very nourishing to my soul, right? Only it's a different amount than that I used to make. And this is why I really wanted to share it with you guys, because I feel there are absolutely also in my community women who have made a certain amount of money in the past, and they're like compare like the worst. Like I have been in a place for a couple of years ago I was there, that I really sort of like compared myself at that time to my past self, right? And I was like, yeah, but I used to make this type of money, so I have to make sure that I make at least this type of money again, otherwise I fail. And that is never the case, because there is no turning back in life. You can never go back, you always go forward. So even if you are like making maybe less money than you did a couple of years ago, if you just let go of that comparison, and if you look at your soul desire and really be honest with yourself, then you probably discover that you are making the exact amount of money that is now what your soul desires. And that is so beautiful if you can come to that place of like, you know what? I am perfectly provided for. And the situation that I'm in and the financial situation that I have created for myself is the exact situation that is suited for me right now. And it doesn't mean that I will never make $1 million, because yes, once my soul is at that level that it desires that again, it will make that money again, right? And the benefit of this is that you can stop sort of like beating yourself up about like, oh my god, I don't have like the perfect money mindset, and I have to do a money mindset course, and I have to change my energy around money. No, you don't. The only thing you need to do is to accept that you are exactly where you need to be. Trust me, when you embrace that frequency in your life and in your business, and when you trust that maybe if you are currently maybe a little bit hustling in your business, I know some of my clients are a little bit into the hustle modus. Like, this is what your soul desires. Lean into it, trust it, embrace it. Trust that the hustling is exactly what your soul wants to experience right now, right? I mean, I don't know if I've ever talked about it, but I truly believe that before we come to Earth, we actually choose our parents, we choose our lessons, and we have very specific things that we want to experience in life, right? And if we go to the next life, we actually choose our new topics again. And it's not that if you go into this life, it's like, okay, I want to do this and that it has to be like all in chronological, is that a word? Sequence, like it's like A, B, C, D. No, you might do A, and then you do Z, and then you go back to C, and then you go to G, and then you go back to B, and then you go to Y, right? We have like all these different experiences in our life, and I feel like a big misconception is that we think like, okay, once I have done maybe your financial success before a couple of years ago when you made a lot of money would be like, okay, that was like I don't know, a P in the alphabet, right? Like a really high level. Okay, amazing. And then you're like, okay, then the logical next step has to be the R or the S. But what if the next logical step for your soul is to move from the P back to the B, and then to the N, and then from the N maybe make a quantum leap again to the Z, right? We don't know exactly what the plan of our soul is, and that is a good thing, because my goodness, friends, like if we would know it all up front, wouldn't that make life so extremely boring? Like imagine going to a party, a surprise party, and you knowing everything beforehand. That wouldn't be fun. I mean, the whole purpose of a surprise and like the laughter that you get when you get surprises is because it is a surprise, right? Our soul wants us to be surprised by the things that it has in store for us, right? So I feel like this episode is such a major episode for anybody out there listening, whoever sort of like trying to figure out in their mind why things go the way they go in their lives, and who sort of feel like, you know what, I do not have a financial issue. I do not have a money mindset issue, but why do I still sometimes feel that way? Well, it's because society is really teaching us that everything has to be done in a set sequence. Like it has to be, like I said, A and then B and then C and then D. But that's not the case. That is not the case. And especially not if you're a manifesting generator, that's not the case. It is all about allowing yourself to be surprised and embracing the fact that you're exactly where you are at. And I'm telling you, once you do that, once you allow yourself to be okay, no, not okay, to be fully happy and excited about where you are, including maybe the so-called struggles that you're experiencing, life becomes just one big, beautiful playing field. And it doesn't mean that you never get to be frustrated. It doesn't mean that you never get to be angry. But those emotions are actually also part of our journey. It is part of our journey to sometimes feel frustrated. It's part of our journey to sometimes get disappointed. It's part of our journey to sometimes get super angry, right? So don't always try to attempt to create a life where we don't have those emotions. Those emotions serve a purpose. Sometimes we need to get super frustrated to make that quantum leap again, right? But really, the one thing that really helped me throughout all my career is to have this mindset, to always understand that where I'm at is exactly where I need to be, and there's nothing that needs to be fixed. And it doesn't mean that I can't aim for a next level goal, because I'm always reaching for next level goals, but I'm always reaching for next level goals that are in line with my soul's desire. And knowing what your soul's desire is and tuning into that, that is like the most helpful thing when it comes to making money, because you always make the exact amount of money that your soul desires and requires. Okay? So I want to thank you for your intention. I love you so much, and we'll talk soon on the next episode.